A scientist who proved the existence of the afterlife continues his investigation despite the wave of suicides he caused, while his son falls into the arms of a difficult woman. So today, on Cinema Recapped, I'll show you The Discovery. The film begins with an interview with Dr. Thomas Harper. The reporter asks him about his great discovery, knowing that there is something after death, but he replies that he prefers to call it a new plane of existence. The reporter also tells him that this great discovery is very dangerous, since thanks to it, several people have committed suicide because they want to go there. But he responds that the world deserves to know. He explains that when the body dies, consciousness travels to a new plane, the one he discovered. He also says that in order to achieve this, he made a machine that can read consciousness at a subatomic level. The reporter asks him a question that many people in the world have, and it's if he feels responsible for the entire wave of suicides around the world, to which he simply replies, no. At that moment, a young man interrupts the interview to thank Dr. Harper while putting a gun to his head. He pulls the trigger, but not before saying, "Now I can start over." We see how everyone is upset, mainly the reporter, who kept screaming for help, while we see Dr. Harper with a surprised look and feeling some guilt. Some time passes after the interview, and we meet the doctor's son. His name is Will Harper, who is on a ferry. He is watching TV, where they're talking about the anniversary of his father's discovery. So far, more than 4 million people have committed suicide. They also mentioned that after the interview they had with Dr. Harper a few years ago, he disappeared and has not given any more interviews to the media. So the son is bothered by these kinds of comments and decides to turn off the television. After that unpleasant moment, a girl complains to him why he turned off the television since she was watching it. So he apologizes, saying that he thought he was alone on the ferry. He sits with her for a moment to chat and tells her that she seems familiar, and she says that maybe they met before, but she doesn't remember him. Then she introduces herself as Isla, and he lies to her saying that his name is Will Stevenson, so that she doesn't know that he is a relative to the doctor. In this talk, we can see that Will does not agree with the suicides or with his father's discovery, and when the ferry reaches the island they were traveling to, Isla says goodbye to Will. A truck arrives for Will, which is driven by a young man named Toby, who is also a son of the doctor. They chat along the way, and we learn that the doctor has made some changes in his investigation, which is why Will wants to visit his father. When they arrive to Dr. Harper's building, Toby explains that the place was bought to house people who tried to commit suicide and was turned into his father's new center of operations. As they enter the building, we can see that there are many people working inside, and they have extreme security since it is dangerous for the world to know where Dr. Harper is. When Will arrives at his father's office, he sees that there is a special device that can kill and revive his father. Will is scared, but Toby reassures him that it's perfectly normal in his father's test, which only lasts 15 to 30 seconds. After waking up, Dr. Harper welcomes Will and invites him in to chat for a bit. When they are alone, Will asks him to stop doing his research, and the doctor asks him why, since he was the inspiration for those experiments. Apparently, years ago, Will wrote a few words talking about the afterlife, but Will says that they both did wrong since they have caused a lot of deaths. Dr. Harper tells him that he has already shown everyone the door to the other world and will not stop until he finds what's behind the door. Will disagrees and goes for a walk. Some bad memories come to his mind, and suddenly he sees Isla, who is putting stones in her backpack and goes to the sea to try to commit suicide. Will rescues her, and the girl gets upset, as she was determined to do it. Will takes Isla to his father's building, but Toby tells her that there are several protocols that she has to go through in order to accept her. At that very moment, the doctor arrives. Then Isla realizes that he is Will's father, and he interviews her before accepting her. The questions during the interview are pretty deep, and Isla feels uncomfortable, since they speak as if nothing about suicide and loss of people, but she agrees to answer everything. Meanwhile, Will explores the place a little more, and Toby shows him his bedroom. His brother is excited because that night some problems will be solved, and they will have a talk with the people that's been following their father's investigation. At night, Dr. Harper is giving a speech to some people, and Will joins the group. The doctor explains that all of them are selected because they understand the magnitude of his objectives, and he believes that they will be able to support him during his investigation. Then, the doctor gets them all relaxed before showing them a boy that is connected to his machines, who will be used to show them what is beyond the door on the other plane of existence. While they plan how to do it, the doctor says he wants to be connected to the machine, while others say it's too risky, and he comments that there is another possibility, but they have to get the body of someone who's already dead. They all comment that it's going to be difficult to obtain that, but Isla says she knows how. They follow Isla's indication and arrive at a morgue, where the plan is for Toby to distract the guard, while Will and Isla choose and steal the body. When they're planning this, they also discuss what could be behind death's door. They choose the body and escape from the place. The plan was a success, and soon after, they are home. But Will and the girl continue to talk about the afterlife. Isla finds out that Will's mother also committed suicide, so she kindly asks him how she did it, and he replies that on a normal day, she was found dead in the bathtub and that everything indicates that she did not do it because the day before, it was a parent's anniversary and the doctor ignored her. Isla also confesses to Will that she had a son who accidentally drowned on the beach, so they both comfort each other. The next day, they begin the test with the body that they stole. They connect the devices to the body and perform electric shocks to try to revive the body's brain a little, but they are unsuccessful and the power cuts out. They all exit the evidence room, but Will returns for a brief moment to see some videos on the monitors, which are being projected from the subconscious of the dead body. Will hides this from the others, and shortly before they enter, he turns off the monitors and says that it is time to return the body, so they do not find out what he saw. Isla accompanies Will to return the body, which is only left outside the morgue for the caretakers to get it, and then they kiss in the car. Once they're back, Will analyzes the recordings that were projected on the monitors, which are images of a hospital, and begins to investigate what it means. Will goes to the hospital where the body had its memories, walking around the place in search of the exact areas of the videos, but apparently the hospital has changed and the corridor that was shown in the videos are gone. He decides to return home, where his father is giving another speech, but in the audience there is a girl who is casting doubts on the other people, so the doctor tells her that she can no longer be in there with them. The girl is very sorry, but she is still kicked out of the place. Will decides to tell Isla about the recordings and that he believes that his father's machine does not show what is after death, but only memories of people's past. So they sneak into the hospital to see the documents of the body they stole. Later, the Harbour brothers talk for a while about their father's behavior, and even though they are his children, they do not know him very well. But what is clear to both of them is that he does not show remorse about what had happened to their mother. Will then returns to his room and sees Isla, who tells him that the video is not a memory of the body, that it is something else since there is a tattoo that the original body did not have. They keep thinking and decide to go find relatives of the body they stole. The next day, before going to look for the relatives, they first go to the sea, where Will confesses that on one occasion, when he was about to die, the doctors revived him, but he managed to see things which inspired his father to start the investigation. They find the house of the parents of whose corpse they stole, but they can only speak with the sister, who tells them that no one at home really loved him. Then they ask her questions to confirm details about the video, but nothing coincides as it seems that they're talking about two different men. They both return home to talk about what happened and about their loss of the family members in the past. The moment becomes emotional, so they start kissing, but they are interrupted by Toby, who tells them that his father was connected to the machine and they have not been able to bring him back. At that moment, they all go to the testing room, where Will confesses that the machine does work because he saw the videos before, and since the doctor remained in that state for more than 30 seconds, they can see videos coming out of his mind, which show the exact moment in the past when he ignored his wife during their anniversary, after which she committed suicide. But shortly after, we see that Dr. Harbour repents and apologizes to his wife, and apparently they had a nice night, but the Harbour brothers say that was not actually what happened. One man says that he has found a way to bring him back, so they all decide to give it a try. They make several attempts until they succeed. They show the videos to their father, and they are all confused. And then Dr. Harbour concludes that perhaps it's an alternate reality, that when a person dies, its consciousness travels to the past and it can change the events, since in theory it would be like a second chance. This worries everyone, as it means that if people find out, they can do whatever they want without guilt, as they will have another chance. The doctor tells everyone that it is better to destroy the machine so the information does not get everyone out of control. As they're at it, someone tells the doctor that people are outside asking for an explanation of what happened. So they all go out and the doctor begins his speech to calm them down. when suddenly the girl who was kicked out from the place a few days before arrives and shoots Isla. The girl drops the gun and regrets it, saying that she only wanted to be accepted back. And we see that despite the doctor and Will's attempts to save Isla, she dies. Will is very upset by what happened to Isla and decides to connect himself to the machine, and others support him so that he does not die. Will appears on the ferry and runs into Isla and tells her that he has come back for her. She explains that the first time she got there, she didn't even get off the ferry because he didn't save her from drowning when she committed suicide at sea. She tells him that he has been in a cycle. Every time she dies, he returns to that point to try to save her, and that this cycle will end when one of those times he manages to save her completely, and that since he already saved her there, they both will go somewhere else. But before that, his father and his brother try to bring him back, but they can't. Will's vision is blurred for a moment, and he appears near a beach, walking calmly, when he sees a child alone, playing near the water. The child is having problems and the small waves are knocking him down. However, Will reacts before an accident can happen. He takes the boy out of the water, and then we can see the mother in the distance looking for her son. When she sees him, she runs with a scared face, and we realize that it is Isla. But neither one of them recognizes each other. Will has just saved the life of her son, which, as we know, was the reason why Isla wanted to commit suicide in the future when they were traveling on the ferry. The end. If you liked the video, please leave a like and subscribe to continue receiving recaps of the best drama movies. My name is TC, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.